Hey guys, October 12th here we are, and the long-awaited SSA announcement as to the COLA that beneficiaries will enjoy came out, and it was, as kind of predicted, 3.2%. But what I think is good to look at, and people take COLA in different ways, right? I mean, I look at it as a Band-Aid when it's high to an over hyped up inflation. So our economy is having issues with inflation, but the Band-Aid for beneficiaries is that benefits amounts, insurance amounts will raise accordingly. I say a Band-Aid because the inflation is still there. And if you've noticed, the amount of COLA, in many of ours opinion, does not cover the amount of actual inflation on the things we buy. So if you're familiar with where they get COLA from, they get it from a particular index, a basket of goods. It's all kind of theoretical, and they check the price increase from the prior related time period to see how it's changed. But when you look at 3.2%, we all know that our prices have gone up, our expenses have gone up more than that, in this last year. Now, if you remember last year at this time, our COLA was 8.7%. And that was followed by something that was over 5% the year prior. Yeah. So like in 2021, we almost had a 6% COLA. It was 5.9. 2022 was 8.7. 2023, it's 3.2. We've had incredibly high inflation. Now, if you go back to 2020, it was only 1.3. In 2019, it was 1.6. In 2018, merely 2.8. In 2017, 2.0. So we had some really appropriately healthy levels of inflation at that time, from what I understand. But if you go back even further, you'll see there were some years where there was no COLA. This is, I suppose, what people call a stagflation, maybe, when our economy was just not thriving. That included in 2015, 2009, and 2010. So, and then some relatively low ones thereafter, although 2011 was 3.6. So usually you can kind of look to what the economy is doing, how our fiscal policy, related to the economy is being handled by our government. And that's how we can come to, figure out when these things are sky high and when they're not. So COLA, again, it's helpful. I was reading that it'll probably be, for the average increase will be $50 a month or thereabouts. I'm going to post this link to the SSA site about the COLA. It also has the history of the COLAs, so you can see where they've gone up, when they've gone down. In all those years, I just named 3 years where it was no increase at all. And of course, we know in reality, we probably had inflation those years, but that basket of goods, had to be balanced out, I suppose. So this goes back to 1975. The only time it was ever zero was those 3 years I mentioned, which is kind of interesting. All within, one kind of recent time period, 2009, 2010, 2015. And 2016 was only 0.3. Anyway, my personal opinion is COLA, the index upon which it is based, is not a true reflection of our prices. There has been talk, and it's probably just talk, about making it a little different, because a lot of the beneficiaries on Social Security use a different set of consumer goods, maybe perhaps than, maybe I would, because most of the time they're not maybe traveling around a lot. Maybe they're not spending on gas, they're spending on medical. And my understanding is that our medical expenses are not included in the COLA. So in that index upon which the COLA is based. So if someone has a lot of medical expenses and they keep rising, doesn't exist. You don't get an increase because of that. That doesn't get worked into the increase. So if that's the case, I could definitely see why people that are beneficiaries who tend to have higher than average medical expenses through oftentimes with Medicaid and Medicare, but those expenses are not being reflected, in the index and therefore in the COLA. But anyway, okay. So that was that big announcement. Woo woo, 3.2. It's really just a band-aid is the way I look at it. And it doesn't really suffice to stop the bleed. What do you guys think? Anything? Anyway, just thought I'd pop that out today. I know I have my regular scheduled share with you that was already put out there today. But this was kind of timely, so I thought it was important. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.